Hello, welcome to this week's Wild Spirits News. I'm Sibylla and today I'm going to tell you do have time and money for your passion. I've been a coach for many years now, and one thing I keep hearing from my clients is, oh, I just don't have the time to pursue my passion. And the second most frequent thing that I hear is, I don't have the money for it. I'm going to be a little in your face today and tell you that you do have both the time and the money. Of course, there might be exceptions, but honestly, 90% of us actually do have the time and the money. And I'll also tell you that the reason why you feel like you don't is due to internalized patterns. Beliefs, once again, because they really do underlie and run all our lives. And it is important for you to recognize these patterns. So your mission today is to break through the patterns that keep you from doing what lights you up. Task number 1 is called You Do Have Time. We all think we have less time than we do. That is a universal truth. And while we're all very different, and by the way, not all of what I'm saying in the next minutes is going to apply to you. There's no person that all these things apply to. But I believe that everyone will find at least one thing that is true for them. So bear with me and hear me out, and you will find some things that you really can use for your own life. What we all pretty much do is that we think we have to do certain things and we don't really have to do them. I'll give you an example. There are some people who, whenever there's a bake sale, they turn up not just with one cake, but with 2, and then also muffins and this, and they spend like days before just preparing for this. There are people who, when it's the Halloween dress-up day at work, and they have to come with a costume that is so completely perfect, they'll have to win the best costume contest every time and spend a week hand-making their costume beforehand. These are things that you don't have to do. You feel like you do. There might be some peer pressure, and you might think that people might look at you sideways if you don't bring a cake for the bake sale. But you know what? All these things in the grand scheme of things don't really matter. Now, unless baking is your passion or hand-making costumes is your passion, then by all means work away if that is the case. But if it's not, consider whether you do have to participate every time, and if you do, whether you have to go above and beyond every single time, or whether it would just do to just wear a costume, a normal costume, something that you throw together in an hour of the evening before. Because that will free up time and space and mind space for the things that truly matter to you. The other thing would be, one other thing would be, there might be people who take advantage of you. I know a lot of people who are so good, they will do anything for anyone, and that is lovely in principle, but there are often people who take advantage of this. And by the way, if somebody does take advantage of you, guess whose fault it is? It's not theirs, it's yours. You're letting it happen. You're allowing it. I'm not saying that you're to blame or anything, because this comes from being a people pleaser. This is, again, an internalized thing. I'm a people pleaser myself, I know. And I'm not going to blame you for this, but what I'm going to say is recognize it and work on setting boundaries. Work on learning to say no. And if you need help with this, go to counseling, get a coach, there is help for this. This is absolutely a learnable thing. And that'll free up a lot of time and space, once again. Then there are these people who need to have a spotless house. There's a quote from, I don't know whether you've ever read the book Women Who Run with the Wolves. Highly recommend it if you haven't. There's a quote from that goes around on social media, and it's fantastic. It's that especially women often say, I can't sit down, I don't have the peace of mind to sit down and write or paint or whatever your passion is, unless the house is clean. And the thing with housework is that it's by its nature never ending. You do the dishes, and in the evening or the next morning, there are new dishes to be done. You do the laundry, and especially if you have kids, I always hear this from my friends with kids, the laundry is never ending. It's just, you could wash all the time. So this doesn't end, and this effectively keeps you from doing what lights you up. So if you're one of those people who think this house needs to be spotless all the time, either lower your standards, because honestly, nobody's going to die if there's a bit of laundry piling up, or if there's a bit of dust. Nobody's going to die of this. And secondly, you could consider getting help. I don't know why we are so resistant to this in our society. I think it's a remnant of the 1950s, of this ideal of the housewife who gets everything done, looks perfect doing it, and it's completely effortless, which even then was a myth, and even more so today when we have so much more on our plates. Get help. Get a cleaner. Hire somebody, even every 2 weeks, who just cleans the entire house. It's not that expensive. If you're one of those people who have never-ending laundry, consider having somebody else doing your laundry. It'll free up so much time. And if you now think that you don't have the money for this, then the next task is for you. Task number 2 is unsurprisingly called You Do Have Money. Now, I went broke once in my life, and I was forced to learn about finances, and I educated myself about finances. I learned it the hard way, and now I'm teaching it because I've become very good at it. I spent over 10 years in my life paying back those debts that I got back then and living extremely frugally. I know a thing or two about money. So trust me when I say you actually have a lot more money than you think, and you are spending money that you don't need to spend. Now, before you go nuts at me, again, there are exceptions, but I'll give you a few examples just to give you an idea of what I mean, what I'm talking about. You don't need new clothes. And I can actually say this is a universal truth. You do not need new clothes, period. If you have more than 2 sweaters and 2 pairs of trousers, you have enough clothes for the next 2 years. Definitely. If you keep them clean, if you look after them, you can mend a seam that's come apart. It's a thing in our society that we think we need lots of clothes and we need new clothes all the time. That's just not true. It's a myth that has been created by marketing, by the people who produce clothes. And by the way, this is also a huge thing for the environment. It's very, very bad for the environment. The clothing industry is one of the worst perpetrators of pollution. And things like child labor and very badly paid labor in developing countries. So it's unethical as well. Buy less clothes. Just set yourself a challenge to not buy clothes for anything new for a year. Or make it 6 months, 3 months to start with. And you will see you survive. You're still fine. You're still warm. You're still dressed. Nothing bad happens if you don't buy clothes, and that money can be spent on something else, like getting a cleaner. Or another example, when you go out, you don't need to spend that much money. I have a friend who said, "Oh, when I go out, that's at least €50 gone," and I couldn't believe it. I have 1 drink when I go out, 1 alcoholic drink, and that'll last me all evening. It's a really long evening, I get thirsty, I'll buy a mineral water or something that's usually very cheap. If you think that if your attraction for going out is the alcohol, then you need to get other friends. Because my friends keep me laughing so much that I forget my drink. I actually forget it. You do not need to spend a lot of money going out. And the other thing is, you don't need a TV license. You might think, oh God, but I really need my TV. I need to wind down sometimes. There's so much stress. But you know what? Create a life that you don't need to wind down and relax from. Create a life that makes you energized and happy. And you do that by pursuing your passion. And if you do that, you won't have time to watch TV or even the urge to watch TV. I haven't had a TV in over 20 years and I do not miss it one bit. Task number 4 is, as usual, to let me know. Hit the reply button on the email that you got the link to the video with and tell me what your main takeaways from this video. I mentioned a lot of things. So let me know which of these apply to you and what steps you're going to take to create more time and money for your passion. I'd love to hear from you, and I promise I'll answer every email. If you didn't get the link to the video in an email, that means you're not part of our Wild Spirits community yet, and you should join us. Go to wildspiritscoaching.com and fill in the little form there. You'll get 1 email per week. It's 100% spam free. You'll get extra articles and information, recommendations of books and other resources, and sometimes you get exclusive offers that are exclusive only to my subscribers that nobody else ever gets to see. So go to wildspiritscoaching.com and sign up. You can also Google Wild Spirits Coaching. That'll get you to the website as well. Thank you for watching.